So, hello learners. So in today's session, we will be doing some actual practical on Terraform. So today we are going to create a small infra in any of the resources, right? In my previous video, I have shown you a lot of providers. Let me show you again. Uh, Terraform providers. And also have a brief discussion. What are these providers? Basically, it's just a small API or plugin which helps to create infra, right? So there are a lot of providers which are provided by the Terraform, right? So in today's session, we will be doing some infrastructure changes on or creating infrastructure in our GitHub. Like suppose we want to create something in the GitHub without going on that and just with the Terraform only. So how we are going to do that? So first of all, we will be looking for Terraform providers GitHub as we are going to create inside the GitHub. Let's check for Terraform GitHub providers. So docs overview, Terraform for registry integration. Let me check here. Yeah, this is the default GitHub provider. You can see here. So it's saying that this is the way we can use configure the GitHub provider. This is the way you can use the provider setting. So okay, let me create a folder here called GitHub. Let me create a GitHub folder. Okay, paste left to the device. Let me share. Okay, fine. No issues. Stopping. I'm just stopping this video. Okay. I'm just creating a repository. I'm going inside this repository. Okay. You can create any name according to the requirement. Okay. So let's create a Terraform file. Any file of file. Let's take it as main.tf only name. And inside we need to provide this way only. We need to provide provider GitHub, right? Let me copy this, paste it here. Okay, I think it's enough. Okay. Now it's ready now, right? Now let me run this git. I'm sorry, git. Let me run this Terraform plan. See what happens right now. If you run this Terraform plan, it's saying inconsistent dependency log file. What does it means? Means the following dependency selection recorded a log file. Means it's asking, it's checking for a new provider. Means it's asking that a new provider has been mentioned in your file called GitHub, and we need to first install it. As you have used a new provider, a GitHub provider, this will be the provider. Register.terraform.io HashiCorp. Inside this HashiCorp GitHub. This is the provider which we are using for this implementation. So it's telling us to make initial dependency selections that will be initialized the dependency log file run Terraform init. It's asking to run this Terraform init. So what does this Terraform init will do? It will initialize this repository. Means it will initialize this provider. Before running this, let me show you one thing. Output of this ls-al. Just remember, we do have only one file here, main.tf, right? So let me run Terraform init this time. See what's happening right now at the backend. Now it's searching for provider latest GitHub. Now it's installed the GitHub provider in our current repository, current directory, not repository directory. Terraform successfully initialized. Now it will be able to communicate with the GitHub also, right? So let me again show you ls-al output. See, two new file already created after the Terraform init file. Let me show you inside the Terraform hidden directory. You will find a directory called providers. Inside the provider, you will be finding registry. Inside this, you will find HashiCorp. And inside this, we will be finding GitHub repository. All the repositories, or you can say that all the providers which we are going to mention in the main.file or Terraform file, it automatically will install their provider inside this directory. inside this hidden directory dot terraform provider registry terraform.io inside this HashiCorp, right? Instead of suppose, instead of using GitHub, let me also provide a new file called main.pf. Inside this, let me use a new provider called provider is equal to, let's take an example of AWS only. Suppose, right? We will be looking a lot of thing in AWS in the later section, but now I'm just showing you how this provider works. I will again run this Terraform. Let me run Terraform plan again. Okay. See what happened. Now it's asking for, sorry, block tab provider is not expected. Okay. Something spelling mistake would be there. See, yeah, spelling mistake would be there. Okay. Well, let me just change this here in provider. Terraform plan. Now it's again asking that to run Terraform init upgrade because a new dependency is called AWS already updated. So I will again run this Terraform init. See, a new called AWS. HashiCorp AWS is also installed using previous installed HashiCorp GitHub. A previously GitHub provider was already installed. That's why it came, right? And it's installing a new provider called AWS also, according to the requirement, right? And now it's installed successfully. Again, let's go inside the Terraform provider registry HashiCorp. You will see AWS and GitHub. Second new provider, AWS is also there, right? Okay, let me go back to the place. Also, along with that, okay, let me do some practical right now. Now, we will be creating some resource inside the GitHub, right? Let me log into my GitHub account. Okay. This is my GitHub account, right? And right now I do have only 2 repositories here, right? Let me create a new repository because we need to provide details. How do we need to create the repository? What are the things? So there's an option called resources. Just click on it and see there are a lot of resources from which you can create the thing, required things. Lot of resources are available for the required infrastructure. Right now, we are just creating a repository. So there's an option called GitHub repository. Click on it. Right now, it will show you how you can do that thing. Right. So this is the way resource, and we are just creating a simple thing, not a whole in description. We are just creating simple thing. So that will be enough for this. Let me copy this everything. Right. We are not going in a deep right now. We are just creating a repository for now. Okay. There are arguments that you can see what are the things which what we are going to do. Okay, let me copy this and I'm opening this main.pf file again and just removing this AWS. Oh, just yeah, I'm just removing this AWS as it's not required right now. So insert and paste. Right. This is our Terraform code for the repository, GitHub repository example. Let's take okay. Also, I'm removing this template also, and because we don't require template right now, right? Yeah, public fine. Okay. So, okay. Before creating this Terraform, this repository with the Terraform, let me create this first manually, right? See what are things they require while creating a repository. Okay, let's go overview, and inside this overview, we just see there are 2 repositories here right now, right? We are going to create a new repository called, let's create repository called Terraform test, and we are creating a Terraform test repository. Yeah. Description optional. We are creating it public, private according to your requirement. You can choose accordingly. Right. We are creating right now. Let's create it public, and also we are initializing the repository. Initialize this repository with the README file. Right. Just click on this and create repository. Right. A repository Terraform test has been created now. Right. You can just click on this GitHub account and you can see there are a total of 3 repositories right now called Terraform test. Right. Okay. Now we will be doing this stuff by Terraform only. Okay. We are inside this Terraform code and resources. We want GitHub repository as a resource. It's a block. GitHub repository is a block, and what we want to name it adds our first code. So like we can write this as first repo. I think this would be fine. Okay. And repo name would be, let's take repo name would be called DevOps with Dev. Let me take this repository only. And description, you can see that inside this, just click on this. If you check this, description is there. At the time of creating this repository manually, we haven't provided any description there. So there is no description this time. So, but now we will be providing some description here also, right? And our visibility will be public, means we are going to create this repository as a public repository, right? Okay, fine. Let me run this again. Terraform plan. If you run this Terraform plan, see what happens right now. Automatically, see, it's showing, because we have run this Terraform many times, but in this we will be using checking what's the actual purpose of Terraform plan. See, now it's showing that when you are going to create this this infra, this thing will be created. Terraform plan will show how what will be happen when you initialize this, right? So it's asking the Terraform will be creating this following account action resources. It will be creating a resource called repository called first repo, right? And its description will be my awesome code base, and this will be the required thing, right? And this name will be the DevOps with Dev. Commit message will be there because you have provided this. This will be done, right? To means to set up this, you need to provide Terraform apply. You don't need to provide Terraform in it every time. It will be required when you are using a new provider, right? But we are not using Terraform provider this time. We are just creating a new repository, new setup, because we have already used that init command, right? So let's run with the Terraform apply now. What happens? See what happened right now. Now it will ask for plan 1 to add, 0 to change, as and 0 to destroy. Now it's asking if you really want to create this infra or not, right? So 1 is to add. So you need to put a 1 and enter. So apply, cancel, right? Enter value. Again, run. Apply, cancel. Okay, what happened? 0 to change. Okay, it's asking for 0 to change. 0 change. I cancelled. Maybe some button is pressing. Wait, guys. Main PDF. GitHub. Terraform. Let me run this setup a minute again. Okay. AWS was there at that time, but now it's fine. I think it will run fine. Terraform. Apply. We will be providing Terraform apply now. Space, enter, and 1 to add. Apply, cancel, why? I don't know why it's happening. This is there. Let me run this Terraform plan again, and it's telling me to provide Terraform apply. Okay, Terraform apply. Do you want to perform this action? Enter hello, yes, only yes. If you like, okay, you want to provide the yes. Okay, plan 1. 1 means to add, 0 means to change, 0 to destroy. So you need to provide yes. Okay, yes. See what happened right now. It is trying to create the repository, but it's giving 401 required authentication. Obviously, if you are creating any repository inside any account, you need to provide some authentication, right? So for that thing, you are going to create some token here right now. Just click on this and go to the settings. And inside the setting, go to the developer settings. And in developer settings, you need to create a token, personal token access, and we are creating a classical token, right? Generate new token, classical token, yeah. Token name, node for testing purpose, for Terraform, any name will be fine, Terraform test. This will be fine. Expiration date will be 30 days. We will be expiring with, yeah, 30 days will be fine, but I will be deleting this token after the creation. So let me check all the required things right now. You can create token according to your requirement, right? Okay. Okay. Generate token. Token generated. This is a token. Now you can check how you can provide the token here. Just click on this repository, this in GitHub repository provider. Check for token. Maybe some token would be there, right? If not, we can check how we can provide this token. Just check for token if token is there. If not, then no issues. GitHub provider, just click on GitHub provider. You will find the required things here. Version. See, inside this provider, you need to provide token by display. Either take token as a variable or take token as a required thing. So you can check take according to a requirement, right? If you want to take token as variable, so you can just create a variable file here. Let's create a terraform.pf watch file. Inside this, inside we will be writing token. We will be providing this token here. Token is equal to just copy token from our this place, copy, right? Paste inside this. Okay, I think it's fine. And inside this main.pf, we can write inside this provider, we can provide this token. Yeah, it's equal to where dot token because we are using from where dot token, right? We have already defined where dot token here. Okay, let me run this again. Terraform apply. Okay, it's asking for token is not declared. The input variable, which is token, has not been not declared. Okay. Okay, no issues. We will be taking directly token here. We will be checking this later. Okay. So let me copy this token right now and we'll paste it here. And let's run this Terraform apply and it's asking definitely must allow at least one attribute. Okay. Token attribute PF was warning value undeclared. Okay. What happened if I have declared this or not? We don't need that this time. We need just creating this token here. I just forgot to put this token right this way. It will work now. Terraform apply. Yes, I will put yes. See what happened. What will happen right now? Now it's trying to create. Yeah, a repository has been created with the DevOps ID. We have seen that. Search here. What happens? Home. Right. Just click on see a DevOps with Dev, a new repository automatically created. Fine. If we check the required things, just click on this and you will see a Terraform test was earlier where are the repositories, a new DevOps with Dev repository created. Just click on this repository. See. This DevOps with Dev repository or automatically created with the public as it's a public. If you click on this, see, required thing is there, right? All actions, everything would be there. Got it? Cool. Yeah. Also, suppose you don't want this repository. Suppose I want to do, before this, let me show one thing also. Okay, I think it's enough for this video. But we will be covering more. We will be continuing with in the next video, right? Okay, thank you guys.